Hello everybody out there on YouTube. This is going to be the second test for demonstrating sort of what kind of quality I hope to achieve and what we've added and what we've changed from the first test. First thing that you can probably notice is we no longer have scratch audio. We have a lavalier mic is ran. I've got an actual microphone going straight into the camera. Sound quality should be now on par to what I hope to achieve and maintain going forward. Second thing that we've added now is a second angle. So now we've got the close-up on camera 2 and we've got the wide with camera 1. Pretty much kept everything the same as it was on camera 1. I was pretty happy with this shot. It's kind of hard to tell, but camera 1 is actually lower down looking up at me, and it's a nice wide view of the chair and the background. And camera 2 is actually a little higher than me, and it's looking down, and it's a nice close-up of just the chest up. And I think they're both of them are tracking my face. That seemed to work really good in the first video. So I'm trying that again. They're both on autofocus, and they're supposed to lock in on my eyes and just keep everything in focus. So this is still a test to see if camera 2 can focus as well as camera 1 can, because if anybody knows anything about Panasonic cameras, they get a bad rap as not being able to focus too well. So this will be a good test for you, camera 2. Third change is we are now using 3-point light. You may notice an extra shadow over here. I hope that's not too distracting or doesn't look as good as the first time that I shot it, because I was just using this light last time, and now we have a light over here, we got a light over there, and we got a third light in the corner. But camera 2 really needed the second light to sort of keep me properly lit and make sure that the shadows for it were not going crazy. So where's this all going? What is the whole point of these tests? Well, the hope is that to make a show good enough where I'm going to talk to you about new and upcoming products that are coming to the market, tech devices, talk about maybe like the new graphics cards just got released. I'm still on the 1080 last system GTX NVIDIA products, but maybe I'll get the chance to test some new ray tracing cards and play some Tomb Raider in ray tracing and stuff along that line. I definitely like talking about technology. As you can see, lots of pieces of technology bringing this video to you right now. So it's a big part of who I am and what fascinates me, and I could just talk about it for days. And like I said in the first test, I've seen a lot of videos getting a lot of love that I just think aren't the quality that people should be, well, I mean, I shouldn't say that people should be putting out there. If that's what you can put out there and you can shoot it on a cell phone or shoot it on a little camcorder, and that's the best you can do, and hats off to you. If you're making good content, you're making good content. I want to make good content, and I want to make really high quality content. So this is a test to see just how good of quality I can get, and so again, what kind of settings will be involved in sort of having a go-to setup. So hopefully, the 3-point lighting at this color temperature, my skin should look the exact same color on the Panasonic as it does on the Sony. The background, this should look a little bit blue, that should look a little bit yellow, just barely, and I really tried to key those in. On both cameras, they have the exact same settings, the exact same everything, but a little bit of difference in lenses, because for me to have autofocus work on a Panasonic, I've got a Panasonic lens on it, which is a lot darker of a lens. So that means over here, you're watching it at 30 frames a second. Over here, you're watching it at 60 frames a second. Shutter speed over here being 1/120th of a second, which means if I move really fast, it's going to look a certain way. If I move stuff fast over here, you can see it's going to blur. It's going to blur. It's going to look like natural movement. So there's going to be differences, but I'm going to try to sync them up to where this has that classic close-up look for the show that I want to achieve, and this has that classic wide. And then what we'll move into is a 2-camera setup hopefully soon for an interview setup where there'll be another chair, and we'll probably use this camera to do the person I interview and have people on the show to talk about tech. Hoping that my buddy Johnny comes on for one of the first episodes. I think he'll be willing to do it. And again, that first test was also a bit of a test for the theme song for the show, which actually I wrote a little theme song and put it together. And I tried to have that playing in the background while I was talking. Now I'm going to do that again. You're probably hearing that right now for this video, but it'll hopefully be a lot easier to do because I think the audio is going to be a lot higher quality using microphones, and I'll continue to use those going forward. I really don't know why if I was going to skip on anything for the first test, why that was what I chose to skip on. So I like how I can see myself on the monitor. Like I said, for the first test, definitely cannot tell when I'm looking at the monitor and when I'm looking at the lens. It's negligible, so I can just look at the monitor all day. Awesome part about the close-up shot being so far away is that I'm actually looking at the little screen on the camera, and again, since it's right next to the lens, really shouldn't be able to tell over there. So I always get to just look at what you're basically seeing in the final product. But yeah, so this has been a test of what a 2-camera setup would be like with full audio, with lighting all the way set up and tuned in, and the color temperatures tuned in on the cameras, so that hopefully this is starting to look like a real show. That's the point. But yeah, going forward, talking about all the things that I like, talking about video games, talking about electronics. We'll talk about the cameras. Maybe I'll review some lenses, review some cameras. Hopefully get into other hobbies that I have. Love watches. I think one of the first videos I'm actually going to do will be a review of this watch here, my Tag Heuer Aqua Racer Caliber 5 automatic. Great watch. And I could probably talk half an hour about that. So that'll be some content coming at you soon. For right now, I'm just doing tests, quick editing, trying to do all the editing in camera so that there's not touching up stuff after the fact. Less computer editing means I just throw it out there. I let it get decoded and re-encoded by YouTube, and I want it to come out looking as great as possible. And so far, the first test, I can say, really did look amazing. That's why we're going with that same exact shot. Nothing changed, no settings changed for camera 1, my go-to. And now we're gonna see how camera 2 works out. There may be a lens change in camera 2. I know I can go to a 50mm 1.8 and get this same framing here, but it'd be like the blinds behind me would be blurred and out of focus, and that might be something I do want to do on the next test. So maybe that test will be, or maybe that lens will be switched out to a manual focus lens, and this will just be locked in, because I'm not going to move. My head isn't going to move much from this shot anyways, so if I just set the focus on my eyes and just leave it, I'll let camera 1, because camera 1, if I want to get up closer, it lost my face, but there you go, I'm back. It should follow me wherever I go in the frame. It's going to try its best to keep me in focus. I don't know if this camera is capable of doing the same, but that's what these tests are for. So I'm going to just throw both of these onto a timeline and just kind of switch back and forth, camera 1, camera 2. So I apologize if my eyes aren't always looking at the camera that's actually being shown to you right now, but I'm not trying to spend a whole lot of time with these. I'm trying to come up with a formula where I can just set up, hit record, and throw it in a timeline, and I know what's going to come out is going to look like what this is going to look like. 2-camera setup, close up, wide shot, good audio. Another thing is hopefully you don't see too many of the wires and bits that are involved in making the audio sound so good, and hopefully you're not hearing like a lot of rattle and stuff like that. I know that it's really annoying on lavalier microphones. If something brushes up against it, it makes terrible loud noise, because there is a preamp in this, so everything is getting amplified and then turned back down in the camera. And I actually did detect those levels with it's got monitoring. On the monitor I can plug in and throw some headphones on. But anyways, enough rambling. I think that's a good enough idea. We're about at the 10-minute mark, so we can see, you know, goal is to make a 10-minute YouTube video, make it interesting, throw obviously B-roll in it. That might be part of test 3, so be looking out for some upcoming content. It's been a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun making these, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next one. Whichever camera I decide to fade out on. Let's go with this one. No, I changed my mind. We're going to do that one. See ya. Cut. Print it. Get this bloody mic off of me.